Good day to you from Anagalactic. We are 2/3 of the way through summer. Yes, this is August 21st, which means we're just 30 days before September 21st when autumn officially begins. So having gotten that out of the way, the year is 2026, and just last year, this man that we see in this little inset window up here, his name is Ted Jacobson, and he discovered the proof of what gravity actually is, which is the holy grail. And I didn't make that up, neither did I make up the expression, nor its usage in this case. If you ask AI Overview, which is the Google chatbot that it puts out with its search engine, I guess you call it. Anyway, you can talk to it. I just found out about this last year. I guess when it first came out, I saw it, AI Overview. I didn't like it. Of course, it's innovative. Nobody likes anything new. If you've never heard of it, it's a surprise. It's a shock. My God, what are you trying to do to me? Control my brain? Now I love the goddamn thing, pardon my French, or actually Albanian, because this thing is the perfect librarian. But whatever the case, AI Overview, I have it enabled or whatever it's called when it just is there and you don't want to get rid of it anymore because now you like it. Yeah, you know, maybe you didn't like the goddamn car. You like your wagon, your buggy. But, you know, a year later, you're driving a car and you got another one in the garage and you yelp about it and you just do blogging and you're texting all over the place. My God, you've got to get a Ferrari. They're just fantastic. Whatever you've heard about them, you're wrong. They're great. Well, Ted Jacobson is a lot of things that I guess an ordinary, like, motorcycle fiend, like, you know, I love to ride a hog with a big, you know, Nazi helmet on. I put on a lot of leather so I look beefy. I'm actually not very strong. And, you know, you hear about a guy like Ted Jacobson, and he's a lot of things we Hells Angels just don't like, you know, a lot of things. But he actually, Ted Jacobson, is the man of the hour. He's the hero. He is old. He's about my age, but I think he looks a lot older than I do. Sorry, Ted. But he was on the Kurt Jaimungal show just a little over a year ago to talk about his discovery that just rocked the world of physics. He just shook physics to its foundation. The title of this particular video, which was produced a year ago and got 500,000 views. That's typical for Kurt. He's the best. But the people he gets on, of course, are a quite random assortment of top-notch mathematicians. None of these people are gutter snipes. Oh no, they're the real deal. If you pass calculus at an advanced level, you're one of these guys. I couldn't do calculus if my life fucking depended on it. However, I did something a lot better, something that Ted will never be able to aspire to, because he doesn't know any geometry. And none of these guys know any geometry. But whereas they can do calculus and they can program a computer to do these calculus, because everything is calculus at their level. Everything is calculus. They don't talk in any other language except the calculus that uses complex numbers. Sorry, I have to have the door open so you're going to hear noise because it's another 100-degree day just dawning. And the Jays are here to interrupt me, so everything's going perfectly. We have motorcycles outside, Jays. There will probably be a train, a helicopter, then maybe the Hawks. The Hawks have stopped finally, but they would just screech at the top of their hawkish lungs. Anyway, Ted, I believe I'm saying his name right, it's Ted Jacobson. Ted Jacobson, well, he's a Jew, and about half of all mathematicians and physicists are Jews. Extremely overrepresented, because they are the most intelligent people on earth, by far. It is a matter of debate if perhaps the Chinese, and really you would have to say the Oriental people, are more intelligent than the Jews. Nobody knows. Because nobody knows anything about China. China is China. It's on the other side of the Himalayas. Nobody will ever know anything about China until they rule the world. China will end up ruling the world after they destroy Israel. They'll be forced to destroy Israel. And if nobody nukes Israel before China gets to them, China will take care of Israel. Israel hasn't got a chance against China. So there's no need to worry about the Zionist domination of the earth to poison your children forever and ever. Amen. No, no. By the way, the Jews aren't as bad as people make them out to be. Why, just this morning, before the sun came up, I was reading the Psalms. The Psalms, they're not the Psalms of David, though. Only about half of the Psalms in the great book of Psalms, which is about 150 Psalms, I believe, if I recall correctly, about half of those are by David, or Dawid. Dawid. Dawood, as the Arabians say. They always mispronounce everything, although they are Semitic, and the Jews are not. A very interesting world we live in, filled with lies, totally deceptive. You'll never get to heaven because Satan is going to block your motherfucking path, honey. You're not going to heaven. Satan lives here. Satan doesn't let people go to heaven. Satan tried to stop Yeshua from going to heaven. You can't do it. Heaven is like China. Heaven has to win. Heaven already has won. It's just working out its plan. But boy, what a plan. What a game. It's actually a test. According to Islam, this is not a game. This is a test. But if you get to Rumi, who is one of the proofs of Islam is Rumi, the greatest poet and one of the most playful people who's ever lived. I just love Rumi, who has a name that's much longer than just Rumi. But Rumi is one of the original Islam scholars. That's very little known in the West. However, his poetry is the most famous poetry of all time in Europe. And it actually got to... America was a little young during the Rumi rage. Rumi has mostly been... Well, he hasn't been forgotten. He'll never be forgotten. He's the greatest poet who ever lived. But he's Islam. But he's also the founder of the Sufis. The Sufis. The Sufis are a mysterious and they're like China. There's a lot of things that are like China. Well, in physics, the China of physics is quantum gravity. That's the holy grail, is quantum gravity. Now, I've examined quantum gravity, and I can tell you there's a decided curve of reactivity to the term. And I follow a very specific pattern of reactivity to physics terms, such as Big Bang. I fucking wanted to shit in the mouth of the Big Bang. And anybody who said Big Bang, I wanted to punch them right in their goddamn face, to blast their face right off of their goddamn neck. What did you just say? Big Bang? I want to kill them. I want to kill anybody who says that term. And then I heard, oh my God, I can't believe it, supermassive. Already my hands are coming up to strangle the motherfucker. What? Supermassive black. Now I've got a knife. Supermassive black hole gun, machine gun. Automatic weapon. Mow him down. Fuck that! So then I heard about quantum gravity. This is a test, it's not a game. In the test, you get executed. But in the game, you get laughed to scorn. And that's what I do now. I'm a playful old man. I get along with puppies and kittens and infants. Everybody loves me. The butterflies come and land on my eyebrows. I'm just a happy-go-lucky. But when it comes to physics and mathematics and calculus and people like this, I go on the warpath. You're trying to tell the youth and anybody stupid enough to listen to you that there is such a thing as what? Now, what does Ted Jacobson say? It's just an extension of the deception and the lies of Satan. Okay, that's all this man represents. That's all you can expect from him. But the reason I tuned into this just yesterday, I keep up with Kurchai Mongol just to check the pulse. He'll never produce anything true. Kurchai Mongol is an industry rat, okay? That's all he'll ever be. And don't pity him, that's all he wants to be. Yeah, he's up in Canada. Yeah, he's a handsome. I guess that's a. I guess that's a subcontinental name. I picture Kurt as being from somewhere like, I don't know, Pakistan. He's one of the most handsome men that I've ever seen. I really like Kurt Mungle for every reason. He's an excellent interviewer. He's a superb scientist. And he has an excellent he's the best. And he gets on the best. And Ted Jacobson, despite my hatred of the industry, is one of the best. Because you have to distinguish between humans and what they say. Humans are liars, okay? That's all humans do is lie. Unless you're Islam, which I am, thank God. Thank God, thank you God, that I am Islam. I'm not a Jew. And neither is he. When you say Jew, you're showing that you've been brainwashed. Anybody, and I just got a warning from YouTube for the third time in 3 years. Oh, I was a bad boy. I was just last week. I produced a video and I've been announcing that about 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3 of my videos are going to be ranting because I'm at the edge. I'm at the edge. I'm ready to go loco. I'm ready to run amok. I can't stand this world anymore. But I want to assure everybody, including YouTube, who always forgives me, all you have to do is just do this little test. Do you understand the difference between saying nice things and saying bad things? And you have to answer like 7 questions. And I always get 2 of them wrong because I'm not sure what's good and bad because I'm a fucking juvenile delinquent. And if I get going, I will cut down everybody. The gays, the faggots, the queers, the retards, the stupid people, the Jews, the Americans, the British, the Nazis, anybody. I will tear you to shreds. Well, you can't do that on a public media platform if it incites the lowest common denominator, which it goes pretty low for humans. Humans, when you stretch out the bell curve, you know, Einstein maybe is at the top of the curve, Rumi, people like good people with brains that work. But as you get towards the edges, you get some filthy, dirty devils that are so foul, disgusting, stupid, backward, and dangerous that words cannot describe it until you go into the Bible and start reading about Satan, demons, and possession. So I was given a warning by YouTube all 3 times, and it's about once a year. And it's not serious, you just don't want to get 2, because then you get a strike. Which means you have kind of you have certain restrictions. And I don't know how long it takes for that to go away, but a strike is like an order more serious than a warning. A warning is this, which I approve of this. I think YouTube is fair and good. I like YouTube. They certainly have been generous to me. They issue you the warning, and they catch it fast because all of these videos are run through a bot. They're run through AI. Oh, at a mile a minute, a million videos a second, and it'll analyze the entire thing in under a second and come out and say, this guy said this about the Jews, he said this about the transvestites, he said this about something he shouldn't have said at all, and then there's another bot that there's no humans involved in this. Humans do not participate unless you can contest it. Because for a lot of people, this means money. It means nothing to me. If YouTube just suddenly axed me, just said, you know what, Scott? You don't contribute at all. We're sorry that we let you onto YouTube. It just said, goodbye, Scott, for no reason, which they certainly have a legal right to do. It wouldn't bother me at all. I really don't care about YouTube. The only reason I do this is because I'm an old man and I have nothing else to do. And I've been like this all my life. I was the same way when I was 18 years old. I said, I am a young man and there's no way I can survive. So what am I going to do? And since I really didn't care, all I wanted to do was eat. And you want a place to sleep called a home? I didn't want to be homeless. I didn't care. Maybe I have to live in a tent, a trailer. Maybe I have to be a nomad. I had no idea. I just knew this world is not made for me. It's made for people who know how to be slaves. And I'll be goddamned if I'm ever going to be a slave. So what did I do to solve this? On my 18th birthday, I enlisted in the United States Navy. And I served. They only make you serve 6.5 months. This is a little known fact, and if you're in the military and you've been in for more than 6 months, you can get out anytime you want. You don't have to fulfill your tour of duty. And I suggest, if for any reason anybody in the Gulf, some of our poor soldiers overseas, well, actually on the opposite side of the earth, they're dying on those ships. The American fleet, it would just be a mercy to sink them. Just first of all, what should happen is, you see, the United States base, very few people know this, but the United States naval base is on an island due south of Tehran, but it's like quite a ways down into the center of the Indian Ocean. In the very center of the Indian Ocean, which is enormous, it goes from Africa to Australia, okay? About halfway across is an island, part of the Chagos archipelago, called Diego Garcia. And the story of how it got the name is, that's a Portuguese explorer who gave it that name, directly or indirectly. It's got a coral atoll with just, I'm not sure it's not a coral atoll, but it's a kind of a, it's got a reef. And it's got little tiny islands, like, in Micronesia, very small islands, and you do not want to live in Micronesia. It's because you're so isolated. You're on an island in the middle of the ocean. You'll lose your fucking mind, but you'll die either of starvation or dehydration or poisoning first, because there's no civilization on one of these islands. Well, this is equivalent to, like, out in the middle of nowhere. It's the desert of the ocean, and the island is called Diego Garcia. It's notorious, it's satanic. It's really a miserable fucking story that if you're sensitive, you don't want to know what happened there. But the motherfucking British, again, the English swine, they apparently appropriated the island. How they did this, I don't know. But the Americans wanted it. The Americans wanted it. And whatever America wants, America gets. Britain is just a little shit dog that America kicks in the ass whenever it wants to. England is no more. They're not. They're purely satanic, though. And so England said, well, there's about 1,000 niggers who live on that island. Actually, I'm not sure how many, but it's about 1,000, as I recall from the nasty story. And the British, who don't give a fuck about humans, just said, get the fuck off the island! And they said, what? We've been living here forever. And the British, they don't ask twice. They just took them and moved them to Madagascar. Those poor people are still in litigation. They'll never get anything. They're almost all done now. They're almost all dead. But the British gave that motherfucking island to the United States. And Islam people have been tortured on that island, just like at Guantanamo. It's the Guantanamo of the East. And that is the base that the U.S. bombers will use when they finally nuke Tehran. And that's next. The Americans are finished, and they know it. But they're all the best element of American government, at the bottom, the workers, they're Nazis. And that's the best you can say. After that, it just gets worse. When you get up to Trump, he literally shits in his pants. He's 80 years old. He's completely psychotic. He's a non-functional psychotic. That's the leader of the world right now. Well, at least that's one level. But Diego Garcia is where the U.S. bombers will take off. They will not take off from a carrier. And what I'm praying for is to see one of those goddamn carriers disabled. You can't sink them. Those goddamn things like the Abraham Lincoln. What a name for an aircraft. A supercarrier, they're called. The poor men aboard those goddamn they're decommissioning the Abraham Lincoln. It's fucked. Probably because of all the vomiting. Service in the United States Navy now is worse than a death sentence. Because they're going to send you to the Gulf where you're just going to fry. They're dying aboard those ships. American sailors are dying every day. They'll wander, they'll fall right off the ship like lemmings to save themselves from insanity. They're out there for months with nothing to do, frying like eggs in a goddamn shallow pan. It's horrendous. But the United States is finished now. And they're, within 2 to 4 years, this country, this entire continent, is going to be racked with something worse than the Civil War. There is going to be a massive uprising of pretty much everybody. The Republicans, Democrats, this goes way beyond that. People are going to be starving across the world. And within 2 to 4 years, tens of millions of people are going to be starving. That's not a guess. That's not maybe. That is the least of what's going to happen. But in the process, you see, Satan is losing his grip. Satan runs America. I'm sure you know that. It's just you don't like to use the name Satan, which is wise. But that's one of the reasons I keep getting warnings, about one a year from YouTube. I don't hold back. I'm over 70 now, and I've done my service. I'm done. I'm discharged. I'm retired. There's nothing more that I have to do. I don't have to listen to anybody. I made it. I made it. I'm going to heaven. Or if I'm not, then... But yes, I am. Not because I say so. It's because Jesus says so. Jesus says so. And if Jesus says that I'm going to heaven, that's where I'm going. You are not. So that's why I broadcast, because of course I care about you, whoever you are. Because if I can just give you a little bit of advice, just a piece of information, and for some reason the clouds of your retardedness just part for a second, and you hear something in the outside world, and it's me saying, you could go free. You could go free and it won't cost you anything. And here's why, and here's how you can prove it to yourself. It's scientific. You can go to heaven. You can be free in this body. Would you like to do that? Normally you would say no, because you know I'm lying. All I want is your money. But then you figure out by listening, no, he doesn't want my money. He really is insane. He's a dirty fucking old man. But he knows one of the secrets of the universe. Yes, I do. How to get to heaven. And you just by a miracle, because angels are prying your fucking ears open. This motherfucker, that is you. This is his last chance. We've got to help him and try to slap you awake so you will listen to what I say. And then what do I say? Hitler was right. Oh, God. Well, that was on a bad day. You just got to give me credit. But if you keep listening, then I tell you how to get to heaven. And then you do, and then you are grateful, and you'd love to give me all the gold you have and all your daughters. Just give me all of your cattle. Give me all of your cars. I don't accept payment. There's nothing you can do with me. I told you I'm beyond you. Americans instinctively hate that. They don't like guides. They don't like people above them. And yet, very strangely, ironically, Americans will follow the stupidest people. Like Joseph Smith or Edgar Casey. You know, they're just really, duh! I think that sounds smart. But as for this guy, no. That's for people who know how to do mathematics. Well, I don't. I don't know how to do mathematics. I can't. I'm disabled. I'm a cripple. So I deserve subsidy. The government should support me because I'm worthless. Well, I'm better than any goddamn you-know-what N or J or R. NJR. Let's see, there's nigger, Jew, retard. What's the other one? Nigger, Jew, retard, faggot. I don't know exactly which of those. It's one of those four, because those are the things you're not allowed to incite people. You! He hurt my feelings! Ah! That's not what they care about. What they care about is, he's right. I should get the other Nazis. Sam's right. We've got to move. We got to start killing. See, that's what they don't like. Is me just being, I didn't mean to do it. Did you know you incited the Nazi party to just like unify, and they went out and they killed 20 people within days after hearing your ugly fucking voice, you shit-eating, and then, oh God, I didn't mean to do that. You know what I would actually say if there was some like court case? You've been making these goddamn videos that's caused uprisings all over the United States and parts of England. Because of you. You know what I'd say? Fuck you, it's your fault! And then they'd have to like, let me out of here! I'll get you! And become like Hannibal Lecter. Or worse. Oh, God. Anyway, within 3 months the warning comes off. So I was going to tell you something about Jacobson here, which is really his name, which means son of Jacob. Which is, I'm a scholar, so I'm a geek. I pronounce names the way they were originally pronounced. Like, I don't say Jesus, unless I'm talking to a you-know-what like you. In which case, if I said Yeshua, there's like 20% of Americans who go, what? 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 Say it again! Yeshua. You mean... Do you mean Jesus? Yes. Why didn't you say so? Because you're a retarded, and then I just reel off the whole string. So why am I showing you this man's rather ugly face? I mean, he's not ugly, but I mean, look. Oh, he's not handsome. That's for sure. The reason I'm showing you that is because, as Kurt Mungle pointed out last year in the title to the video where he interviews this man, and it's a good watch. Oh, that man, even though he looks ugly, he looks boring, he looks like he's got one foot in the grave, doesn't he? He looks kind of sad, he's sick. Well, he's actually one of the greatest physicists on the face of the earth right now. And some of the other physicists are starting to worship him. This is how physicists work. They're looking for someone to worship, because they're all atheists. All of them are. I'm actually not sure if this guy is. He might not be after listening to his voice for an hour, as I was falling asleep last night. I fell asleep listening to Kurt interview this man. And I learned something. Although there's no way any of these guys can ever get the answer. I have the answer. But what I'm looking for now, and have been for about, oh God, too many months now, I'm looking for a way to tell you the truth about physics, so that you know what this guy will never figure it out. Nobody that you've ever seen on YouTube or you've heard about, Einstein couldn't figure it out, okay? Albert Einstein did not get the answer to the question he sought. Neither did Dirac. Nobody since Einstein has done a goddamn thing of any value. With some notable overlooked exceptions. I am the only physicist or mathematician or scientist who can actually pick out what is right in any of these theories. Whether it has to do with quantum gravity or the supermassive black hole or the collapse of the wave function or anything else where they just can't figure it out, I can. I've already got the answer. I've already penetrated beyond where Einstein and Dirac could reach. And now that's a half an hour, and I'm going to cut this off by letting you know that this man says that entropy is gravity. And I am going to show you that even though he's wrong, he's more right than anybody has ever been. Keep looking up. We'll be right back.